Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well. Derek Domino is the channel. Might subscribe and like the video. Ireland's coming civil war. I don't want to release this video. So, 69, nearly 70,000 subscribers for Derek Domino. I'm quite a fan of Domino's Pizza, and we're kind of caught in a domino effect here of decline towards a civil war here in Britain as well. So it's quite interesting, as I've mentioned before, with some of these older gentlemen, because they've seen more of the world, and with age comes wisdom many times, if you seek it. And just generally, like, they know politics, and you know what I mean. And it's good to hear how older people are reacting to the general bagwash that's ensuing worldwide, really, but we're concentrating on England, I suppose, or Britain, because that's where we live. So yeah, I thought it's a very interesting video, because I mean, I think it's worse here in England than it is in Ireland, to be honest, from what I know, in terms of like the immigration and the crime, and it seems to be worse here, but I could be wrong because I don't live in Ireland, but it kind of seems to be worse in England and Britain than it does in Ireland. So it's if they're heading for a civil war, what the hell are we heading for? Do you know what I mean? And it makes more sort of evidence that we could be heading for a civil war, which is honestly bagwash. We don't. Will be real fucking bad. It'd be the times the likes of which most people have never seen, to be honest. And he mentions the troubles in Ireland, and the troubles in Ireland were happening when I was young in the 80s, and I vaguely remember them as a child, and I've seen it well, as I've grew older. And you don't want your streets like it was in Ireland, and yeah, it was troubles. Wasn't good times, but them times history repeats itself, and he mentions history in here about diluting populations as well. It's a very interesting video. I'll play some of it.
This is a video I'm going to make, but I may never release. Yeah, sometimes well, at least I ruminate, think, consider great questions of our age, whatever they may be, and the great questions of my age in the place in which I was born, and the society in which I was born, and the people to which I was born to. The great question is, are we at the end? Have we reached the end? As our journey over thousands of years finally ended here? Is this the pinnacle, or, well, not the pinnacle, the trough of us as a distinct tribe, I suppose? Is all that at an end? Is it finishing? And if so, and many people think it is, and it's difficult to be upbeat, it's difficult to be optimistic when we are being erased in real time. And anybody who says that's not happening, I'm sorry. No, it is happening. It's happening in real time as we speak, every day, every week, every month, and 12 months a year. You can't but see it. You can't but feel it. It's just how it is. Now, there is, I believe, a coming situation that I'm loath to talk about, but I have to talk about it, or at least I have to talk about it with myself, even if I don't put this out. I like to tease these things out in my own head, and sometimes I even talk to myself. I know that's a sign of craziness, but then, look, I won't, Anyway, I do like to try and tease things out, because I'm not an academic. I'm not a highly educated man. I like to think I have a modicum of common sense, and I like to think that I'm aware and alive to the world around me, which I think I am, as most, if not all of you who watch me are too. So what I see and feel It's probably what you see and feel, not only in Ireland, but in the UK and in America and Canada and New Zealand, all other places where people watch me. You observe things that you see every day. And what I'm seeing in Ireland is unprecedented in the current day. It's absolutely unprecedented. We still bear the scars of the Ulster plantation centuries ago, where tens of thousands of Scottish, mainly Protestants, Presbyterians, and that kind of thing, English people, essentially were injected in to the Irish landscape and the Irish society with the plan of essentially nullifying the whole Gaelic thing. And that was the plan. It was a distinct plan. It was a well thought out plan. And it happened over a century or so. What we're seeing now today dwarfs that whole project in just a few years, dwarfs it by a magnitude of 10 or more in scale of immigration. What was tried out 300 or 400 years ago by the English crown to...
I'm just going to stop it there, just to everybody heard that. The English crown, decades ago. So this is nothing new. Right, this is history repeats itself. There's nothing new under the sun. This is nothing new. This has been done before, and it was been done by the British Crown, who still are in charge, in my opinion. So it's an old playbook, to be honest. It's an old playbook, and it's been done before, as you said here. And mentioning a coming civil war, but what we're seeing as people around us. I mean, I'm up north, but down south especially, you've got to be seeing it down there. I mean, when I was in Manchester, again, I used to live there 25 years ago, and the population, I'd say it's split kind of evenly, like between sort of black people, Southern Asian people, and English people. It's kind of like a 33% split all down the, you know what I mean? So it's yeah, it's like, but ultimately, like, English white British people is predominantly who is from this land originally, if you know what I mean. So it's an absolute dilution of the culture is what's happening, and been happening for a long time. But it's gone into sort of overdrive, and the sort of the ultimate, like, not the ultimate, the sort of side threat is that these people could be something to do with Iran or Gaza or Hamas or anything at all. Even long before this conflict kicked off, we were getting attacked by Islamists on Lee Rigby and various other ones, London bombings on the London Bridge. So even before this conflict, we were getting attacked. More of these people are coming in. So it's just the added danger. A lot of people now saying they don't feel safe on the street, especially kids. Some sort of poll Nigel Farage has mentioned that something like one in six kids doesn't feel safe on the streets anymore. So bagwash Britain every day of the week. But this guy's talking about Ireland, and it's the same things happening, and the same things happening because this is a global plan, a global agenda, and we're just the peasants, basically, is what's thought, and we don't get to decide shit, and we don't matter. The elites are going to put this plan into action and fill it through fucking hook or crook here. Unless the only thing that can really stop them is the people, the British people, because even the police and the army are the people, they're not the elites, but they need to figure that out. And there needs to be some sort of plan, because people do these jobs for money, because it's jobs. So they follow orders, don't they? But ultimately, that's going to lead to the death of the modern world, to a new futuristic world where it'll be, well, it'll be all right, I suppose, if you survive and get there. I think it's half the crack. If you survive and get there, it might be not too bad, but you will be a slave for the elite and your rest of your family for generations, for the rest of eternity, is the plan. So anyhow, let's crack back on with what's going on in Ireland and the similarities to England and with Scotland and probably Wales, to be honest. And it's worldwide, to be honest. But I mean, we've got to fight your own country's battles. You know what I mean? We're not going to fight for Spain and France because we're not fucking in Spain or France here. So even Ireland, to be honest, we're not in Ireland, but everyone's got to fight for their own. Is kind of the crack here. That's the word is out there. If you do not stand and fight for your country, it's the end of your country.
Nullify, to dampen down, to eradicate or breed out those troublesome Gaels. Our own government here, we're supposedly a sovereign state now. We govern ourselves, no longer under the crown. But I and many others would argue we just swapped one crown for another, and we're now under that crown, except this crown is in Brussels, not Buckingham Palace or Westminster. And that's happening. And you can't, if you live here as I do, you cannot but notice it, you cannot but see it, you cannot but feel it. I've very often been in settings, normal settings, a shop, supermarket, an office, a library, and I'm not only the only Irish person there, native Irish person there, I might be the only English-speaking person there, which is something you expect to happen on holidays, well, because you're on holidays. But when it happens in your own town, small rural town, that's, well, it's sobering. It's very discombobulating. It kind of makes you face certain realities, and then you have to grapple with those realities. Now, why I didn't want to make this video, and I probably won't release it, is because I think I know where it's going, and it's not good. It's not good. It's going to a dark place. And the authorities, the government, the people in charge of it, I don't think they care. I really don't.
No, because they've sold us all out. That's what people can't seem to wrap their head round. That all these people in charge have sold us out for the elites. And again, the elites have all the money. So they've sold us out. And when the new world is born, and these people will be protected through the bagwash, and they will be brought into the new world with money and be looked after for fulfilling the plans of the elites. That's kind of what's happening here, and their families will be looked after, and our families will be all the if you survive, will be all the fucking peasants who do all the work forever. That's the plan. And when you're the elites and you've got this plan, you're like, why wouldn't they enact this? Do you know what I mean? They don't want this free world. There's too many people on the planet, and due to exponential growth, we'll be at 16 billion by 2040, it's believed, or somewhere in that region. That number of people, resource-wise, feeding 17 billion people a day, is a drain on resources for the planet. It really is. There is a kind of limit to how many people we can have here, and it's nothing to do with space. It's to do with resources. And if we all want iPhones, and we all want cars, and we all want tellies, and we all want all these things, laptops, and yeah, we need to mine everything to build them, and this continuous mining is resources. So the more people, the more resources we need, and we burn through, and the planet has only so many resources in certain sectors. So it's not a good plan. Do you know what I mean? And the elites, the people who own and run the planet, because they own everything, and it's, in their eyes, their planet, and in ways it kind of is. They're not going to let their world, where they're the rich people and having fun being the rich people, they're not going to let their world be destroyed by the peasants. This isn't fucking happening here, you know what I mean? We're the rich people, we're going to sort this out, is the fucking crack. So, they are going to sort it out. There's been plans to sort it out for a long time. These are the plans, you're watching them every single day, to build a new world order, and their new world order isn't one that the peasants will like. But all these people have sold us out. That's what's happened here. They have sold us out. Keir Starmer in England, the all these prime ministers and politicians, they're all got when they're real young, before they're anywhere near being a politician. And they're brought into the right circles with the right people and pushed in the right places and paid for and educated and indoctrinated. And then when they get older and into the job that they've been groomed for 10 to 15 years, then they do the master's bidding. And that's what's happening here. It's not even that clever, really. It's just you're not told by the mainstream media, because the mainstream media is all owned by the rich people who aren't going to tell you their plan, because the minute you know their plan, you ain't going to like it, because the world that you know is going bye-bye. And if you can't see it now, then you're never going to see it, to be honest. By the time you see this, the world will be gone. Gone. And you'll be living in... Fuck no, you'll be living in civil war, to be honest. You'll be living in civil war, and then after the civil war, should you survive, yeah, there'll be a new world, but it won't be one that you'll be that happy with in the long term. Let's just say that. So let's hear a bit more.
They, I'm sure, study history, or at least are aware of history, as I am. And history shows us the playbook here. You can only disabuse population to a certain extent, to a certain level, before the kettle boils over, the pot boils over, the cork blows out of the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what's happening here in England. There's a pressure cooker, and the government are doing everything in their power to rile up the right by calling them right, far right wing, two-tier policing, like putting migrants in Canary Wharf hotels, sneaking them in the early hours of the morning. The British government's kind of slapping the British people in the face every chance they get, because they want you to kick off. Because when you kick off, they can bring in more rules, stop protests, bring in more 1984 George Orwell fucking Big Brothers on your ass here. And it's all justified because you're kicking off. So these left-wingers are not only maybe paid to protest, they may be actually paid to antagonise and get the right wing to kick off. Because once the left wing are kicking off all the time, but now it's said about them, you know what I mean? So it's not just two-tier policing, it's two-tier governmental policies as well. But it very much is that, because this is all one big plan, and all this, again, there was a man called Alan Watt who lived in Ireland, and he knew everything, mate. He knew, his video still exists, Cutting Through the Matrix, I think his name of his channel was. If you search Alan Watt, Cutting Through the Matrix, that man knew what was happening, and it's a massive loss. Forget David Icke and Alex Jones and all these people, they're fucking half full of bullshit. Alan Watt was straight down the line, to be honest. He didn't give you none of this fucking, the Queen's a lizard and all this bullshit. He was straight down the line, to be honest, and I wish he was alive today, because he died just during COVID, and honestly, he was fucking brilliant, to be honest. He was brilliant. So yeah, civil war is what's coming by the looks of it. I mean, I can sort of feel that, because we have that many foreigners in our country at this point that there's definite tensions between sort of the Muslims and the Christians and the Catholics and the Protestants and the Jews through everything that's happening in Gaza. So, and are half of these men coming over anything to do with that, and they're going to assemble some sort of coordinated attack? We don't know, but that's been prophesized, if that's the right word. It's been predicted. That could be the case, and it could be the case. We don't know ultimately. That's the beauty of why we shouldn't let all these people into the country who we don't know who they are, because we don't know who they are. So there's a very strong argument for it, you know what I mean? But the fact that this argument isn't being listened to, and these people are being picked up and put in hotels, 4 and 5 star hotels, and given iPhones, and you fucking name it, 4 meals a day, as much as you can eat, then you kind of think, hold on a minute, the government isn't trying to stop this in any way. It's bringing it on. It's doing this on purpose. So why? Well, the answer is because it's all part of some big plan, and this man here is kind of alluding to why, again, back to a civil war, what they want us to kick off so they can bring in more rules. But not just that, it's been done before, as the guy said. You know what I mean? This is why, again, YouTube is brilliant, but older people are brilliant. Older people, honestly, they sometimes know history that you don't, and little things can mean big things because history repeats itself.
Can't keep injecting more and more pressure into a system without something blowing somewhere. A valve is going to give somewhere. And in Ireland, I believe we are 1 minute to midnight on that. And that's frightening because being Irish and having lived in Ireland and grown up in Ireland during the time of the Troubles in the North, I've seen conflict. Not seen it. Well, I have seen. I've been in a few bomb scares. Even though I was in the south, I was close to the border, so we were often in Newry and other places when things were happening. So conflict and civil unrest and civil strife is not new to us. Okay, we moved or thought we'd moved.
But it is new to the British people. This is the thing. This is what I can't kind of stress highly enough, that we're not used to this. Like I'm 45, and we've never seen anything like this on British soil. What could be coming here? It could be really, really bad. And yeah, it's something I don't think anybody's kind of prepared for, because, and it's not just, as I've said before, the civil war. It's the economic effects of the civil war and how that boils back down to poverty, starvation, diseases, hundreds of diseases that can be brought on from starvation due to the British economy collapsing, due to it being a fractured country, a first failed state. If the government and the police and the army can't keep a hold on it, and we haven't really got an army, the police, I don't know, we probably haven't got enough police, depending on, you know what I mean? This could really go bad, to be fair. So let's be careful what you wish for as well, in a kind of way. Be careful what you wish for, but at the same time, it's kind of the civil war's planned for me. Yeah, this is all part of a big plan. They need a civil war in order to bring in the rules that they want to bring in, because it's justified in light of a civil war in this country, and again, something that's never happened. So they've never had the justification to bring in these rules. But once the civil war arrives, boom, justification. So it's all, we're all being played as well at the same time here. That's the beauty of this. But ultimately, we need to stop a load of foreign men coming to this country, because A, they'll be part of the civil war, and B, they're costing us a fortune, and C, they're attacking women and children. So there's multiple reasons why we don't want these people to be here. But an ultimate reason is that if this does go to civil war, they will probably be involved in it.
Beyond that, and we'd come to various agreements and various understandings where we could all live in peace. Okay, occasional arguments here and there, but by and large, we'd left all the carnage and murders and ambushes and massacres behind. At least that's what we thought. But I feel with what is happening here in the south and even in the north, it's not just about the Republic. Ballymena happened a few weeks ago, and we all know how that went. It was like in Ballymena, Larne, Portadown, other places, immediately reverted back to 1973. It all was there. It was just latent. But when you poked it enough, eventually it came back in a heartbeat. Now, what I think is going to happen in the south is there's going to be civil unrest. I hate to say it, and I'm certainly not espousing it, nor am I encouraging it. But the more I think about it, and the more I consider it, and the more I watch it, because to do what I do on this channel, I have to watch a lot of things, be aware of a lot of things, research a lot of things. And I'm watching, it's like people watching, but on steroids. You know the way you sit in a cafe, you watch the world go by. Well, I kind of do that online. So I'm watching a lot of stuff go by, go across my desk.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to take in that much stuff that's coming across your desk at this point. It's with the volcanoes, earthquakes, the economy, the migrants, the civil war. Bagwash, World War Three, fucking Israel, Russia, you name it. There's that much coming across the desk. It's hard to keep up. This Online Safety Act, Trump and America. You know what I mean? It's insane. And then you've just got all the little things that the public do. You know what I mean? Mental, absolutely mental. The world's crazy.
The vast majority of which I don't make videos on. Sometimes a topic, subject will really enthuse me, and I'll get stuck into that. But the vast majority of it just passes me by. But I'm aware of it. I watch it. I imbibe it. And the mood music, as far as I'm concerned, is really bad at the moment here in Ireland, because our leaders are just ignoring the will of the ordinary Irish people.
Yeah, we're playing a big fuck off violin here. Like the biggest violin in the world's playing for us all here.
And doing something completely against what they want. And that is never good, and it has never ended well. Civil war, revolt, revolution, some form of...
I've explained this. Revolution means go around in a circle. So we don't want a revolution because we've been conned on that. We've been conned. Revolution means go around in a circle. We need some sort of like evolution here, or we just want to take the power back. That apparently this is a democracy, but we should all be aware now this isn't a democracy. This is a dictatorship, but in the guise of a democracy. So we want the power back, to be honest, and we want to just live free and happy, and we don't want to live in a super tech fucking tronic surveillance state of the elites, to be honest. Again, I've known about this for 15, 20 years, and you've tried to tell people for 15, 20 years what's coming, but everyone's blinded and just isn't bothered and gets on with their lives. But ultimately, you won't have a life when this is done. It's always been the what you were trying to tell these people, that like if we don't act now or act at some point in some time, then everything's fucked, to be honest. Everything's fucked for you and your kids and future generations. It's all fucked. So you kind of want to do something about it, to be honest. But I mean, I haven't even got any fucking kids, you know what I mean? That's the beauty of it. I haven't even got any kids, and I've fucking been fighting the good fight for 15 fucking years here. For everybody else's kids and families and that, and they're all busy watching fucking X Factor as the fucking futures go down the Swanee here. It's the fucking irony of it all. So you'll all be sad when it's all fucked and gone to shit. That's the beauty of it. When you can't afford anything and it's fucking you're basically paying your fucking bills and affording to eat. If you can even afford to eat, you're still starving and struggling. That's the future. And when that's upon us and all your iPhones and your fucking PlayStations and everything's gone, then you'll all be fucking crying in your laps, is the beauty of it, and be wondering what happened to the world you lived in. And the answer would be you all watched it blindly sail down the fucking river, to be honest. Because this didn't happen overnight. This happened over 30 years. Like, probably more, to be honest. But visibly, for 30 years, this has all transpired. And for 30 years, the British people, or the people of the world, to be honest, have been stupefied and won't listen to the other peasants that are trying to help them, because we're all peasants. And ultimately, us peasants should stick together against the rich people, because the rich people fuck us every chance they get.
Civil unrest is coming.
Civil unrest is coming. I mean, I couldn't agree more, to be honest. I couldn't agree more. And I kind of believe, because that's part of the plan as well, they want civil unrest, and that's why the government continuously slaps the British people in the face. I'll have to leave it there. I've run out of time, but there's a bit more of the video on Derek Domino here. Good video, brilliant. Again, I love listening to these older gentlemen who've seen a bit more of the world and what they can see coming as well, because I kind of could see it coming myself. So, very interesting, but prepare for bagwash is the ultimate message here. I'll leave it there. Peace.